Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Pits of Motorcast. It's your host, Dave. I got a special guest on the line, Clay Kossuth, the Max Attack car. How you doing, Clay?
I'm doing real well. How are you?
Pretty good. So now, how did the car run for you this season?
Well, we did great. We had a good year. Unfortunately, I ended up third place overall instead of first, but you can't complain. Had a great year.
Now, how many events did you run this year?
We did 6 in the Victory Series. I think we did a total of 14 events altogether. Plus, we ran the altered car at the Wisconsin International Raceway a couple times. Had a great year.
That was for the evolution of drag racing?
That's correct.
Yep.
Yeah, we ran against Orion the Farmer Beswick's 66 GTO funny car, and we split with him. It was a good time. I think the crowd enjoyed the show, so everything went well.
Speaking of Arnie, I want to give out condolences to Arnie's wife.
Yeah, that was a sad thing. I've got to call him later on today, but sometime.
Yeah, it's always sad when someone loses your lifelong partner.
Yeah, definitely would be. He's mad about it. For him and people, and we always enjoy spending time with him when we see him at the racetrack.
So how you doing? How you doing, housewives, Clay?
Well, I'm doing okay. I just turned 70 this year. Still hanging in there, and fortunately, I've got a good wife that can really support me, and she's a good racer in her own right. She's done really well. But, we have a great time, and everything's going well. We'll continue doing this as long as we can.
Yep.
But
now, are you going to be doing some more events with Rex Stevens next year?
yes, we're planning on it, and also we may do some with Dennis Mothershed with the Funny Car Chaos. They're talking about us doing a couple events there. So I think we're going to be busy with the altered car as well as our regular race cars. And we're looking forward to it. It should be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, anytime you can get out there and drag race, it's always fun.
Oh, it sure is. I'll tell you what, it's hard to believe the years have passed as fast as they have. Golly, here it is, probably 50 years after we started playing around a little bit with these things.
Now, when you get out on a track drag racing, do you feel younger?
Feel like a teenager, and then when you get out, race,
I'm losing you, Clay. You're fading in and out.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just saying
there you go.
Yeah, we have a great time, and we've had the camaraderie in the Nostalgia Superstock ranks is just unbelievable. We've gotten a lot of really good friends over the years, and unfortunately, we're all getting old and gray-headed, and some of us are having trouble getting in and out of the cars, but we're still managing.
So is it the camaraderie in drag racing that still keeps you passionate about doing it after all these years?
I think so. We really look forward. I mean, it's like a big family reunion almost at each event we go to, and everybody has a big meal and at least one night at the racetrack, and everybody has a great time. You couldn't meet a better group of people to hang out with and compete against. When you're on the track, everybody's out for themselves, but when you're off the track, you'll do anything in the world to help one another out, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, one great big drag racing family.
That's correct. It's wonderful. And, they're from all over the United States. Well, mainly from the Mississippi East, but from this area in Wisconsin, and like that. Unfortunately, like they fought on. I don't know why, but
I'm losing you again now.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, it's mainly from the Midwest to the East Coast is where the nostalgia cars are at, and nostalgia super stock. But there are a few out west, but not nearly as plentiful.
Yeah. And then over the years, you just keep meeting more and more people, and the family grows bigger and bigger.
That's correct, and we're concentrating now on getting the younger generation involved. In the Victory Series this year, we've got 5 new racers that are younger than 35, so we're really happy with that. So a lot of us are getting a little bit long in the tooth, you know.
Yeah.
But it's great to see the young ones get involved.
Oh yeah.
Even though it makes it a little tougher to beat them, they have a little bit better reactions sometimes. But it makes you feel even that much better when you do get lucky enough to win.
Yeah. So now let me rewind the clock back with you, Clay, and ask you, how did you get into drag racing?
Well, something I always wanted to do. My dad, in the 50s, he was an Oldsmobile guy, and all of his magazines, we always got Hot Rod Magazine and Motor Trend, and I would always read all those. And in fact, when the 63 Max Wedges came out, I tried to talk him into buying one for a family car, but that didn't go over so well. But anyway, we just grew up with around cars. My dad and uncle were both into them, and they street raced a little bit, and it just went from there. But I've always been crazy about cars.
So what?
Unfortunately, I married somebody that's just as bad as I am. My wife loves them just as much as I do. So it worked out really well.
So what year did you start drag racing?
Oh, golly. When I was in the Navy out in Long Beach, I went to Lyons quite a bit. I raced street motorcycles at the track then when I was in the Navy. But that would be 69. Raced a little bit in around the area on the street before that. But I didn't really, I guess Wentzville, MAR, Mid-America Raceway, back in the 70s, would be about the first that I can recall really getting into it. But while we were raising our family, and, we always did the nostalgia races and like that, but while we were raising our family, we couldn't do it as much as we'd like to. But we've always been involved and always had a great time. And in the last 25 years, we've really been involved with the nostalgia racing. So it goes back quite a ways.
Now, what was the experience like for you to go down a drag race track for the first time ever?
Well, you're nervous. Sometimes at some events, even today, you still get goosebumps. Like the World Series of drag racing, they have so many spectators, and like that, it's amazing. It's like almost like an NHRA national event, but it's just a lot of fun. The fans really enjoy it, and it's a good time. And like with the altered car, when I get the wheels up and go a couple hundred feet with the wheel on the rear bumper, and the crowd really gets into that. And it's just a good time. And I've never had any negative responses to anything that I can recall. And everybody just really enjoys these old cars. And I think it's something that the average guy can relate to. It's not something that takes all your household money to go racing. You can go out and do it without on a budget if you need to. And it's just a wonderful way to spend your time.
Oh yeah, the people, they still love the long smoky burnouts.
Oh yeah, they sure do. And sometimes we have backup girls like the old days and put on on quite a show, we'll do a 300 or 400 foot burnout, back up, and then do the wheel hops and wheel stand. It's a really good time, and I think the crowd really gets into it.
Now, what year did you start driving the Max Attack car?
The first one, probably 95. Prior to that, I had mainly Plymouth. I never did really name those, but we came up with the Max Attack name in the mid-90s. It's kind of stuck, and now we've got Max Attack 1 and Lady Max and Max Attack 2. The altered car is Max Attack 2.
So how did the name Max Attack come about?
Well, it's just derived from the Max Wedge motors, and it's just something that just kind of fell into place. It just seemed like a good idea at the time, and I thought that was a good name for a Max Wedge car. My red and white car, the '63 Dodge, it's an original Max Wedge car. It's been raced its whole life. It's never been on the street. It's always been a race car. So I just felt that was a good name for the car.
So now, what do you got under the hood of that car?
Right now, I've got a 496 streetwear, a wedge motor, the Indy cylinder heads on it, and the Indy intake 2750 or 2800 Edelbrock carburetors. And my wife's got basically the same motor on hers. The altered wheelbase car, I've got a 540 cubic inch all aluminum Indy Max motor with Hillborn injection and running on alcohol. The other two cars run on 110 octane fuel, and just a lot of fun. I get to race against people like Damon Coon down in Houston, Texas. He's a lot of fun to run against with his fugly car, and then Mike Kerrs, he's up here in Missouri, but down in Dallas, did opponent. He got a 64. It was Texas Outsiders. Texas Thunder Racing is the name of his company, but we'll have racing all over the country, over the years with those cars, and hopefully continue to do it for many more years to come.
The Max Attack car is a AFX. What exactly is a AFX?
It's a factory experimental. Back in the day, it was kind of a loose ruled, pretty much anything you wanted to do, you could do. They were mainly for match racing. Chrysler built 11 official AFX cars, but those cars are all museum pieces now, but there's a lot of us building cars that mimic those. And the way that came about, the
You're breaking up again.
It gave you a really big weight transfer advantage by moving your rear front and rear wheels up or forward in the car. So it really puts on a big show, and the cars hook up good, and you can get down in the 860, 870 range pretty easy with those cars, which that's a little faster than what they went originally. But they're a lot of fun to drive.
So what's the fastest pass you've made with that car?
An 868 at 160 or 159 miles an hour.
Nice. Now, what year did the Fuel Altered come into play?
Do what now?
I said, what year did the Altered come into play for you?
We built that in 2006, and it took a couple years to get the bugs out of it. And unfortunately, with the race schedule, back then we were doing like 21 or 2 races a year. Because we run the Midwest Nostalgia Sun. We run National Muscle Car Association, which in the old days that was National Street Car Association, and then our Victory Series, and then we had our MAR races at Wentzville until the track shut down. But anyway, unfortunately, we couldn't run that car because of our schedule. Had a great time with it, it, and we look forward to running it quite a bit next year. I think we'll do 5 or 6 events with it next year.
Now, is that altered running on alcohol?
Yes, it does. Yeah, it's a really good. It's an easy tune. Well, Joe Chrisman out of Transact in Indy, he's the tuner on the Hillborn, and that guy, he can tune anything. It's just amazing how good it runs. You know, you could almost drive it on the street as well as race it the way he's got it tuned. Smooth and just really responsive.
So now, what's the quickest pass you made with the altered?
Well, that was the quickest with the altered. Was an 868 at 159 and change. We took it out to Bakersfield, California, and I believe I did that again out there, 868 at 159, somewhere in that neighborhood out in California with it. But I think they were a little surprised.
So what'd you run, the Hot Rod Reunion or the March meet?
The March meet. But we want to go back out to the Hot Rod Reunion for the car out there. I had to run it in B gas when we were out there at the March meet, which I really wasn't competitive in that, but in the Hot Rod Reunion, they've got an AFX class, so I think I could do pretty well in that.
Now, when you first got in the drag racing, Clay, were there any, drivers out there that inspired you?
Well, yeah, there was Akron Norland Banky was always one of my heroes back in the day, and fortunately, we became real good friends with him and his wife Faye. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. And Dick Landy was another one. Arnie the Farmer Beswick. But those three really come to mind. They always race cars like the pro stock cars, and what I like the real cars more than I do the front engine drags or something like that. But anyway, they were kind of my idols when I was a kid growing up, a young person getting into it.
So, how many years have you known Rex Stevens now?
Oh gosh, we've known him. He used to run the Dawson's Demon at MAR all the time. He was one of the highlights there. Probably 25 years. On a personal level, just the last 4 or 5, but I've watched him forever. He's one of the best drivers I've ever seen. That guy, he used to drive that Demon out sideways at about 180 miles an hour, 1,000 feet out, and just flip the throttle and keep in it. But he's a good driver.
Now, did he get the Guardian? Did he get the Guardian fixed yet?
He's still working. He had a problem. I think it was his aunt he was taking care of, and she passed away recently, unfortunately. So he had to put his car on hold while he was taking care of her. But I think he'll definitely have it back on the track next spring. And Mike Kurz is going to have his car will be back out too. He's got the Chasing My Childhood funny car, and also he's building a funny engine dragster on nitro, blown injected 392. That should be a lot of fun to watch that car. So it's going to be a lot of fun next year.
Yeah, I saw Mike run his funny car at Great Lakes Dragway this year.
Yeah, he puts on a good show. Yeah, between him and Chris Snyder out of Jeff City, Chris does a good job with that one he's got. And I'll tell you what, it keeps us busy. We got a race, we race in Dallas. Just pretty much all over. It just keeps you on the road. But
I'm losing you again, Clay.
Okay.
There you go.
I'm on my cell phone, but we really enjoy doing this, and we're really looking forward to next year. That's going to be really good. We'll be pushing 71. So I don't know. We're slowing down a little bit, but hopefully we'll be able to keep doing it for another 4 or 5 years at least.
Have you ever been to Great Lakes Dragway?
Oh yeah, yep. I went up there the first time when I was in A school in the Navy back in the '60s or '60. Well, it would have been '69. But we raced up there several times. We used to go up there with the NSCA, and then Midwest Nostalgia has their event up there every year. But they're a good group of guys. They put on a really good show. And, that's a good track. It's got a lot of history.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Broadway Bob's not there anymore, but he used to put on a show just in himself.
Yeah. Yeah, they broke the mold when they made Broadway.
I think so. Yeah, I don't know if anybody else could fill his shoes. He was a lot of fun. He was quite a promoter.
Yeah, he put on a real good show all the time.
Yep.
Almost everybody's memory of Broadway is him sitting on the nose of the Green Mamba jet car drinking a beer.
Yeah. Well, you always saw him with a couple gals hanging on his arms. You know,
yeah, that too.
back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was some good times.
So you think you'll run at Great Lakes Driveway next year at all?
I think we may get up there. We'll just have to see. John Grinwald's a good friend of mine, and he's got the Gold Digger hard wheelbase car, and I owe him one. He beat me the last time we were out, so I need to get out and see if I can rectify that. So maybe we can meet up there next year.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. That car he's got's a really nice car. It runs really well. I think he's ran low 860s with that car. It runs. And we've got a couple more cars being built out in Kansas. Dennis Mothershed's going to have his car on the track this coming year also. So should be quite a few AFX cars out there.
Now, when you take the Max Attack car out there, how many crew members have we?
Usually it's just my wife and me, and sometimes we'll have we've always, no matter what track we're at, there's always somebody local that we know, and they'll help us. The biggest thing is backing up from the big burnout, and sometimes we have a young lady that'll help. So it just puts on a really good show. My wife and I pretty much do everything at the track.
Now, do you have any sponsors for the car?
Yeah, we've got several sponsors, like on the motor and stuff like that, and like Muscle Motors for years used to sponsor us, but now I've got Joe Chrisman at Transact. He's the biggest sponsor we have at the time. But I think we're going to have some more come on board. Larry Jeffers helped us out quite a bit with things like fuel and stuff like that. Larry Jeffers race car. And, we're just, we get a lot of help from a lot of different people, just smaller, not any major things like motors or anything, but small items like fuel and oil and stuff like that. And then help with tuning the car and keeping the motors fresh. Joe Christman's really adopted us and helped us out a lot. And Damon Kuhn helps us, and Damon's been a big help also out of Houston. But
every little thing helps.
Oh, it does. I'll tell you what, it's so expensive. And then we have in our Victory series, we've got A&A transmissions out of Indianapolis, and we've got TTI exhaust out of Sam Davis. He's the owner out in California. He helps us out with our headers, things of that nature, and really good people. And we've got M&M transmission out of Jeff City. They help Hand City Red, and Mega Parts. Victory Performance Parts, that's Dennis Mothershed. you want a drive shaft or U-joints or anything of that nature, Dennis is the guy to do it. He's just unbelievable. And you buy a drive shaft from him, it's guaranteed for life. So you can't ask for a better product.
Now, when you're out on the track, Clay, do you have any pre-race rituals or superstitions when you're out there?
Not really. I never, some guys will get in one lane and stay there if they can. I never do that because if you let your opponent know that you like a certain lane over another one, they'll make sure, if they have a choice, they'll make sure that you get the opposite lane. So that's not a good thing to do, and that's really about it. I just try to stay flexible, and I can't really think of anything of that nature that would bother me. Been doing it too long to let something like that get in your head.
Yeah. So, what kind of preparation goes into getting the car ready for a weekend of racing?
Well, you have to. Usually, we'll go over the valves, run the valves on the car, and check the car over for any leaks of any kind. Check your brakes, and make sure the oil's good and clean. Check your fuel, and then we get to the track. Usually, by the time you get to the track, you just warm the car up, and then you have to check your tire pressures, and that's really about it. In the kind of racing we do, we don't have to tear the motors apart or anything like that. Most of the time, sometimes you have some major use extra motor and transmission and all that. Sometimes we'd change them at the track, but now that we're a little bit older, that doesn't happen anymore. If something that bad breaks, then we just load it up and bring it home and fix it.
So what are some of your favorite tracks to run on?
I'd have to say MAR was probably my favorite, but it's no longer in existence. I like Clay City, Kentucky. It's a good one. It's a good nostalgia track. Cordoville, Illinois, that's probably my favorite right now that we currently run. Eddyville's a good eighth-mile track. But I'd say Cordova's got to be tops. We enjoy going to Indy. We usually have a race up there. NMCA has a race a week or two after the Nationals, so the track's in really good condition usually. So we enjoy racing there. But that Cordova track, it's really a lot of fun. It's been there forever.
Yeah, it was nice when they got the World Series back to Cordova again.
Oh, it sure was. That was a shame that they moved it down. It went over very well there, but we're glad to have it back up there where it belongs.
Yep.
That's a really great event.
All right, so you ready? Ready for a few fun questions here now?
Sure.
Now, outside of drag racing, do you have any other hobbies?
Oh, we like to fish, and I used to water ski. We don't do that much anymore. My wife and I both really enjoy fishing, and we like to travel. We've got an old 36 Plymouth. We're going to take it out to Yellowstone Park next year on a cruise. But street rods, we like to go to cruises and like the Hot Rod Nationals and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun.
So when you and the wife go fishing, what kind of fish you like to catch?
And we like the best is crappie.
Oh yeah.
But we'll catch crappie, catfish, things like that. But crappie's the best.
Yeah, they got a lot of bones in them, but they're delicious.
Yeah, they sure are. Yep.
Right now it's crappie time, spring and fall.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure is. We were out about 3 weeks ago. I don't think we got the boat winterized now, so we won't get out anymore this year. But we are going to go down to the Houston, Texas area. Maybe we can stop and do a little fishing there while we're down there.
So, if you and your wife ever have time to go on a vacation, do you have a favorite vacation destination?
our favorite. We ride motorcycles a lot all over the country in Canada, and I'd have to say, well, we used to go to the Smoky Mountains and like that. We'd do that one year, and the next year we'd go out west to the Colorado Rockies or Wyoming. Those are probably our favorite areas. We really enjoy that, the scenery, and the people. I tell you what, you get like the Blue Ridge Parkway. The people back there are just unbelievable, and the people out in the mountains are great people too. But those are probably our two.
You're cutting out, Clay.
Okay. I'd say that those two destinations are our favorite. Just the out west in the mountain area, and back east in the Blue Ridge area, and upstate New York's a nice place too. A lot of good scenery, especially on motorcycles. But unfortunately, we don't get to ride anymore. We've been racing so much we got rid of our motorcycles. We didn't have time to ride them. But maybe when we get too old to race, we can get back on the bikes and go again.
Now, what kind of bikes did you ride? Harleys?
We had Harleys and Yamahas, just a little bit of everything. I grew up on Harleys. I think my first one was in 1951. 74, I weighed about 120 pounds. I'd have to jump start it. Fortunately, we lived on a hill, so I was able to coast it and start it in third gear. I couldn't kick it over.
Wow.
Had a lot of fun with that bike.
You probably missed that bike, huh?
Yeah, I sure do. But like I said, we just don't have time to ride anymore.
Yeah.
But one of these days we're gonna rent one, and we'll go out to Rapid City and rent one and go out in the mountains again. We'll do that in the next year or two. But next year we're taking a 36 Plymouth out there.
Now, have you won any trophies throughout your career?
Have I what now?
Have you won any trophies or plaques, any kind of stuff throughout your racing career?
Oh, yeah, we probably got a pickup load of that stuff. But, we've been very fortunate. We been fortunate enough to win probably the most prestigious events throughout the years. But one time or another, my wife, she won the Dave Duell Classic, which there were 74 racers from all over the country, and she was fortunate enough to win that. And that was down in Bowling Green, Kentucky, a few years ago. And I won the Hot Rod Reunion down there, and several of the events up in Columbus, Ohio, and like that. We've just been lucky. I can't remember all of them, but we've been very lucky over the years.
How many years has your wife been drag racing?
She started in 2000, and she just loves it. She's really good at it. She's petite. She's about 5 foot, and she just really, people see her and they never believe how she is on the track. She's deadly on the track. Cuts good lights and runs dead on with the car. She's really good.
Now, how many times have you raced your wife?
I don't know off the top of my head. We were laughing about that the other day. I think we're about split on wins. But I'll tell you one thing. I've had people ask me, do you let her win? Well, my God, no, I don't let her win. She's really good.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fun. I'll tell you what, it's just a blast.
So if you were able to do time traveling and go back in time, would you change anything with your drag racing career?
I don't think so. I think we've pretty much done what we set out to do. We've had a great time, and everybody would like to do more of it, but when you're raising a family, work has to come first. And I worked at Chrysler for 30 years, and here at the Fenton plant, and so that took priority, but fortunately we were able to squeeze things in and got to do a lot over the years. So we've been really lucky.
right. So Clay, what's your favorite food to eat?
My favorite food to eat?
Yes, sir.
Oh my God, I'd probably say beef steak, a good New York or a New York strip. But my wife won't let me have them very often anymore.
So is the wife a good cook?
Oh, she's a wonderful cook.
So what's your
Homemade bread, all the good stuff that you're not supposed to eat.
what's your favorite dish that the wife makes?
Oh my God, she makes so many. Yesterday she made me a meatloaf with mashed potatoes, and the only thing missing was the homemade biscuits. But she's just a really good all around cook. Everything she makes is just really good. And anymore, the last couple of years, she's been experimenting a lot with different types of food, and she could be a chef. She's really good.
That's awesome.
And I'm not really that picky. I like all different kinds of food, all different kinds of nationalities. Everywhere we go, we try to eat different types of food, and it's really hard to come down with a favorite. It's all good. That's why I'm so skinny.
So what's your favorite beverage to drink?
Well, we drink a lot of coffee. I drink a lot of coffee, and I like iced tea, and then a little bit of whiskey and a little bit of beer. But I like the darker beers.
Now, do you have a greatest movie of all time?
Oh my God, boy, I don't know. I tell you what, I've seen so many. I like a lot of the old black and white movies, and everybody likes American Graffiti. That's a good movie, but I can't think of one that comes to mind just at the moment. But
so what's
Gone with the Wind was a good movie.
What's your favorite type?
Two-Lane Blacktop.
What's your favorite type of movie? Action, drama, comedy, what?
Yeah, I'd say probably action. I really enjoy those. We like to watch that the SEAL Team TV show that's on, and that they used to have that Six. That was a good show. But those type of shows, those are probably my favorite.
All right. So what's your favorite?
Last week.
Go ahead.
I was going to say last week we went to see the new Midway show. That was pretty good. It's about the World War II movie. That was a really good movie. Well done.
So you like documentaries too?
Oh yes, yeah. I like a lot of history and documentaries. Yeah, we watch a varied amount of things. Unfortunately, we've got Netflix and all that, so we can watch just about whatever we want.
Right. So what's your favorite music to listen to?
Oh, I like rock and roll, and I like soul music. The '60s soul music that we grew up with. Just Otis Redding and like that. Wilson Pickett. Those were all good movies or good shows and songs.
You like Motown?
And, say what?
I said, do you like Motown?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's a lot of good music out there.
Now, when you were a little kid, way back when, did you have a favorite cartoon growing up?
Oh God, oh my goodness. Well, I like the Wile E. Coyote. That was a good one.
Oh yeah, Roadrunner.
Yogi Bear and all that. We used to watch Howdy Doody. I don't know if you guys had that. I guess you did.
Yeah, I used to watch it all the time.
Yeah. Just shows like all the kids.
Yeah.
Little Rascals, Little Rascals was my favorite show back then.
Yeah, they don't make cartoons like they used to.
No, they sure don't. That's one thing we miss when we go to the movies. They don't have the cartoons anymore.
Yeah. So when you're at the track, Clay, for a day of racing, do you eat regularly, or you eat light and wait till after the races are done?
I'll eat just a little bit before the races, and once the race is done, then we'll eat a good meal. But try not to get if you eat too much, then it slows your reaction time down, makes you sleepy. But, drink a lot of water before a lot of coffee and water. Coffee in the morning and then water while we're racing. And we practice quite a bit on the practice tree in the pits. We've got a small handheld device. That's the key to it, is getting a good reaction time and then getting your car dialed in on the number.
Yeah.
I have a lot of really good memories racing Mark Artis. Him and I used to really get each other going. We'd line up against each other. We had a lot of fun. Our cars were run identical. We run 975 index. The cars would just run dead on, and whoever got the reaction time won the race. We had so much fun over the years. I'd like to go back in time and relive some of those races. But Mark's getting old, and like the rest of us, he's 76 years old now.
Now, could you think of one most embarrassing moment you had on the track?
Oh my God, one of many. Let's see. I tell you what, probably the most embarrassing was at MAR one year. They used to shut off selling the fuel. They had quit selling it around noon on Sunday, and this particular weekend we had quite a few cars in our class. And anyway, we get down to the final round, going for the money, and I get in the burnout box and the car dies. And guess what? It ran out of gas.
Okay.
I got out, raised the hood, made a big deal like there was something wrong with the car, but I knew all along what it was. But that's probably the most embarrassing I can think of. I'm sure there were many more.
Yeah, that would be.
Another time, we still got the push button shifters in my wife's car and my red and white car. And one time I hit second gear, and when I did, the third gear button popped out and went past my shoulder. So that was the end of my run that day. But anyway, that's just a couple of silly things that happened.
So what's been the fondest memory of your drag racing career?
I'd say probably seeing my wife win that Dave Duell Classic. That was awesome, because that's just really a big event. You had people from all over the United States for that event, and it was just amazing. But as far as me personally, I'd say, there's been several. I used to race against a guy up in Detroit, Doug Wright's his name. He had a car named Lickety Split. It was a '63 Dodge, and we would run each other. He was my nemesis almost in the late '90s. It seemed like every race we went to in the NSCA series, we would end up in the finals against each other, and But then once I got ahead of him then it became easier once I finally beat him. But we had some really good races over the years, and it's just a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Well, Clay, I want to thank you very much for we finally got this interview done.
Yeah, well, that's great. It was good talking to you, and hopefully we can get more people to show up at the track. It's a really good time. It's a good way to spend your weekend, and good, clean fun, good family-oriented fun. It's just a good time.
Yep.
And I really appreciate you having me on.
No problem. We'll do another one in the future.
Okay, well, you take care.
You too. You have a great day, Clay.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks again.
Bye.
Bye.